You're not where you want to be in your real estate business because you aren't willing to do the hard things at the right time. Therefore, it creates a big gap in your real estate business. And I'm going to talk to you about how to get through that. My name is Jesse Dow. I own the Real Agent Now Group, the Channel Junkies YouTube marketing agency, and an investment company. And in 2025, I have brought in over 170 transactions using leverage. So the one thing that I notice is when you see agents, especially top producing agents, they all have similar stories. I've interviewed hundreds of real estate agents on my podcast, and the one thing that they all have in common is they all say this: my first year in real estate, I was the number one agent in my brokerage. The first year in real estate, I was a top producer in my office. The first year in real estate, I won Rookie of the Year. I did some crazy amount of transactions, and you know why? It's very simple. They did the things that real estate agents should just generally be doing every single day. And I'm going to tell you what happens and how you can prevent this from happening in the future. Typically what happens is an agent doesn't have business, so they come in and they start doing the things that generate business right now. So if you're a brand new agent watching this, your number one question that you have on your mind is, how do I write a contract? You shouldn't be worried that at all. Here at eXp Realty, we actually have assistants that help agents actually write contracts. So if you have any contractual questions, you can go and speak to them directly, and it's super, super easy. So the number one constraint is actually generating deals. So when an agent's brand new, they start generating deals because they have nobody to distract them. They have no clients they're working with. So they're dedicating all their time to generating leads. So then what happens is they start getting some leads, they start getting some clients to list or to help purchase, and then they stop doing the things that generate business, and therefore they start going down the tracks of what we call the cash flow coaster. That's when you have no leads, so you start generating leads, then you start working with those leads, you stop generating leads, you close the business, now you're out of leads, so you start generating leads again, and you see how this is like an evolving rotation. And really what it is you go through this thing where you have to figure out how to inject the right leverage at the right time so you can bust through the ceiling and go to the next level. I know for a fact when I started real estate, I read this book, and the number one thing I did is when I got my first deal going is I got a transaction coordinator, because I knew that the thing that was going to take me the most time and make me the most distracted was writing contracts. And honestly, I was dedicating probably 10% of my time to generating leads and 90% of my time to working with those buyers and sellers I was generating. And what happened? Well, at the first chance of getting a big cash injection, I said, I want to replace the person, me, generating those leads. And then guess what happened? Nobody was doing it the way I was doing it, because I was basically teeing up warm leads. I was going on these appointments, and none of these people actually knew why I was showing up. So then I went back to the drawing board and I said, I'm the one that has to do this. But what I wasn't doing is I wasn't training that replacement. I was trying to hit the easy button. Remember, if you're building a business, it typically takes 5 years to grow a real sustainable, scalable business. So if you're an agent and you're just getting started, you don't even have to worry about this spot. All you need to focus on is generating leads. And if you're a practicing real estate agent right now and you've been consistently doing 4, 8, 12, 20 deals a year, but now you're starting to see a downtick, well, the answer to that is think about what got you those leads to begin with. Because typically what happens, and it's the 5 steps of entrepreneurship, it's step number 1 is uninformed optimism. Stage 2 is informed pessimism. And then stage 3 is called the valley of despair, which is where you need to make a decision, which is, am I going to bust through and get into informed optimism, or am I going to cycle back to stage 1, try something new, and go into uninformed optimism? 99% of agents go back to stage 1 and they're like, I'm going to chase the next shiny object, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Zillow leads, Facebook leads, Instagram leads, Reddit leads, Nextdoor leads, the latest and greatest CRM, the latest and greatest transaction coordination software, the latest and greatest AI. All of those things are a massive distraction. 70% of transactions are done from sphere-based business, referrals. That is where you should be focusing a good amount of your energy in database management. The reality is, if you move to a market and you have no database, you're going to need to figure out a different strategy. However, This isn't everyone. And this is why I specifically choose to do YouTube, is because it generates the highest quality lead out there. So whether you're moving to a new market or you're in a market currently, you can plug this strategy in, which is what we teach over at the Channel Junkies, and it generates so many high quality inbound leads because it's people that, feel like they know, like, and trust you. I actually watched a podcast the other day where this agent said that, YouTube leads are only engineers, like only engineer type minds are on YouTube. And I'm like, I must only work with engineers then. That's pretty cool. They all make good money, they all have good credit, and they all like to buy nice houses. So I don't see anything wrong with that. And most likely they like to sell really quickly. So that's why having a sphere-based business mindset and managing your database is extremely important. I work with lots of agents. I interviewed one on my podcast, Ray Fernandez. If you go and check out the co-sponsor podcast, when he started working with us, he was an $8 million a year producer. He followed our system, followed our tactics, followed our strategies, and today he's doing over 36 million year to date. He's going to close the year over 40 million. But you know what he does is he keeps adding leverage points as he moves along. And that's exactly what it is. It's all about figuring out how to take it to the next level. But what most agents do is they say, I can't afford that. I want to know how you cannot afford to do it is what the real answer is, or the real answer to that question. Because here's what you do. Take your best year in real estate, say it's $500,000. So you're going to break out the calculator, $500,000, divide that by 1920. That's how many hours there are in 40-hour work weeks for the whole year. So that's $260 an hour as it's someone that generated $500,000 in GCI. Now, $260 an hour is incredible. Now, could you replace yourself with someone that makes $20 an hour with transaction management? Could you hire a virtual assistant to do your social media posting? Could you hire, 6 virtual assistants to do multiple different tasks? And the answer is yes. But if you've never worked with someone that has actually done those things, then you wouldn't even know to think about it. And that's like one of the biggest benefits of working in a cloud-based model like EXP is you're surrounded by all these people. And I asked, a couple top producing agents, which you can go back to my podcast and listen to them. And I say, what was the shortcut? They said, at the end of the day, you have to do the work, but there's people doing the work and doing the things that you want to do and so you can go and network with them, you can learn from them, and then you can do it so much quicker, and they can tell you what to avoid, what to lean into, and that's exactly what we do here at eXp Realty with the agents in our organization. And if you want to reach out to me and have a conversation about how to make that happen, it's very simple. Reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, or you can even schedule right here on my calendar link that links directly to me, and I'll be the person that shows up, and we'll have that conversation, whether you're a team lead, team agent, solo agent, brokerage owner, or even just getting started in your real estate business. And until next time, we'll catch you later.